That takes place in a computer lab, he had to tell the students, look, you have a computer in front of you, but these computers are only supposed to be used for the course material. He had the students promise that they wouldn't use it for any other reason. But they didn't listen, okay? As the semester went on, you know, the respect level, I guess, deteriorated, and he realized, look, I'm giving these kids weekly quizzes, and I suspect some of them are cheating. So, you know, he had given a lecture about cheating and how important it is to follow the honor code, and some of the students in the class decided, hey, let's do an experiment on our classmates and see whether or not they would be willing to cheat if we sent them a link to the test answers for the next test, right? Now, the test answers were completely fake. Obviously, this email was a trap. And they wanted to see how many students would click on the link for the answers if they were reminded about the honor code in the email versus the students who were not reminded of the honor code in the email. And the results were actually pretty interesting. So if the student received an email, if the students received an email that reminded them of the honor code and also posted a link to the question, to the answers for the test, only 69%, only 41% would click on that link, okay?
This is with the honor code attached.
With the honor code attached. When it came to the email that only had the link but did not have a reminder of the honor code, 69% of them, interesting number, would click on the link to get the answers for the test. Fascinating. So I didn't actually think that it would make a difference. If I read an email, first of all, let's talk about whether or not we would click the link. Would you click the link?
No.
Really?
I'm just saying, like, you guys know me by now. I'm thinking this is a trap.
You think, okay, not only is it a trap, this is what I would think. This is a virus. Like, it's, whenever you see a random link, by the way, what student wants to help you? What random, unnamed student would want to help you on your test? They want to help themselves. They don't care about it. And it's so risky to send out an email like that, right?
Yeah. That's the other thing, because then, yeah, if it gets sent out, I would assume they should have checked to see what percentage of students in here, because I think this would definitely happen. Maybe they omitted this. There's probably a certain number of these students that, you know, they made up a student that could have been in the class since it's so big, Richard Zhang. And they probably sent emails back to the professor and said, Richard Zhang is sending answers to everyone.
Right.
So, like, let's eliminate this guy. I think probably a decent number of students would do that. I don't know if, you know, they didn't acknowledge that or not.
Yeah, you're actually right about that, okay? After that email was sent, students went up to the professor and said that, you know, certain students should be investigated because they believe they cheated on the test. Which is really interesting, because then when the professor asked, you know, how many of you ended up clicking the link, none of them were willing to admit to it.
Even though that was an anonymous question, they could answer.
Right.
But like saying, how many of you think others cheated, and how many of you cheated? And then, you know, of course, a few said so, but it was, of course, a drastically lower number.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
I mean, I saw that it was happening, but, you know, I tried to tell him not to. And then he did anyway. Please.
But are you surprised that a reminder of the honor code would play a role at all? If I were someone who were willing to cheat, right, and I saw the honor code on that email, I don't think that it would make a difference. But obviously, in this case, it did.
For a certain, yeah. Of course, it wasn't like the 69% that cheated went down to zero, but, and of course, they split the class in half, too. So, I mean, there's so many factors, and if you want to make it a strictly very, very scientific study, there's too many other things to go into it. Of course, this is just a test, a society test to see how people react. But, yeah, you know what? I wouldn't have thought that even putting an honor code would do that, but I can see it now, I guess, because I think people get caught up in going, oh, well, somebody's giving me the answers. It's not the same ones, but it's similar. It's good enough. It's whatever. It's a study guide. I think people put off, like, they'll shake aside the responsibility for the result that they're looking to get. And once they see the consequence right in front of their face, I think the wording that they put into the extra part was, obtaining documents that grant an unfair advantage to an individual is not allowed. Did you ever read your school's cheating policy?
I didn't read the cheating policy. However, plagiarism.
The honor code, I mean.
Yeah. The honor code, no. However, plagiarism was such a big problem when I started going to college. So every single professor would start off every single class, not every single individual class, but each semester, by talking about their policy on plagiarism. So that was always in the back of my mind every time I wanted to write something out, because you're writing an essay and you're like, oh my God, they're so strict on plagiarism, and I could completely ruin my academic career if I don't follow the rules. So if I would write a sentence that was even similar to something online, I would have to change it up and make sure it was different and from my own words. So it reminds you, it depends on how you're reminded. If you are reminded of the consequences, I think you'll be less likely to cheat.
Yeah.
If you are reminded, like, don't cheat, it's not good, blah, 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 then you're not really going to care. It's just going to sound like a cheesy warning.
Right.
Consequences, I think, speak louder than...
Yeah, I guess it's if there was a link that just said, hey, check out the honor code, by the way, and it's just a link, but this put in words, a full sentence saying a significant part of the honor code telling what it is. I mean, just like when you sign up, and you do those, you upload a new program to your computer, and it says, do you accept the terms? And you could read it, or you just say, yeah, I accept, it's fine. You
Right.
didn't actually read all of the terms.
You're totally right about that.